Hello, my name is Riley. I'm the author of 3 books, and I'm working on a 4th, which is about something called the just world fallacy. Today I'm going to talk about conspiracy theories. It feels like we've reached peak conspiracy, at least online. It appears that people will believe anything. We're subjected to birthers, chemtrails, the Illuminati, and somehow the flat earth theory is back in vogue, which is something that I never believed would be possible. Some of this is just the internet. It gives us a public space for our previously private and possibly embarrassing beliefs. And it acts as an echo chamber when we articulate those beliefs. But it feels that in spite of most of us having more access to more information than at any other time in history, people are more willing to believe nonsense than ever before. Everywhere there are people claiming they believe in something that is demonstrably false. And we're not just talking about a few people. As recent events have shown, we're talking about a lot of people. And moreover, they believe with every ounce of their body. There are people who hold these beliefs as closely as they hold basic beliefs about other people and the world. And worse yet, they get very angry when you point out that these beliefs are wrong. So what the hell is going on? First of all, I think we need to understand what a conspiracy theory is. So first of all, there is something that is in the world that is called a conspiracy. They actually exist. There's a legal definition, which is basically that it's any time 2 or more people get together to commit a criminal act. That is a conspiracy, and they happen all the time. Non-criminal conspiracies also happen all the time. You could say right now there are multiple conspiracies happening in the world. Some of them are criminal, some of them are non-criminal, just run-of-the-mill everyday conspiracies. But they happen all the time. That is not what a conspiracy theory is. A conspiracy theory is different. It's a theory that used to actually be called something called a hidden hand theory. And the reason it was called a hidden hand theory is because the conspiracy theory implies that history is guided by hidden forces. So that some power that we can't see or some group is moving history and influencing history in ways that we cannot perceive. So that is a distinct difference from a legal conspiracy of 2 people getting together to try and do something. Say, robbing a store or something. Though conspiracy theories claim different people are responsible for influencing history, they all essentially claim this same thing. There is a group of people conspiring together to deceive the rest of us as to their true aims. And the way that's framed changes from theory to theory. Some conspiracy theories allege that there is an all-powerful group of people controlling the history of the world. Other theories just allege that they are just covering up a basic truth about the world and they're not actually trying to influence events. But the basic pattern is the same. Somebody more powerful than us, than you or than I, doesn't want us to know something. And they're hiding this information from us, and their reasons for doing so are not benevolent. They're maybe not evil, but they're self-interested at the very best. There are, as you probably know, an absolute ton of conspiracy theories. If you go on Wikipedia, which has a really comprehensive list, there are so many that they are broken up into 13 categories. That by itself, and I think there's 10 or 20 in each of those categories. So we're talking about hundreds of conspiracy theories that are notable enough for a Wikipedia entry, which is staggering if you think about it. So what makes these conspiracy theories different from other kinds of theories about the way the world works? Well, over time, we have come up with a way of assembling and presenting knowledge. When I say we, I mean human beings. And we've created theories about how the world works. And these theories include methods for how we should theorize about the world. And these methods have been debated and critiqued since people started writing, basically, and certainly since people started thinking about how we think about the world. There's a long history of us doing this. Though methods are much stronger in the physical sciences, all academic disciplines have rigorous standards about evidence, about styles of argument, about logic, and other similar ways of presenting these theories. As I said, these methods have been critiqued and debunked, and amended and replaced, and this has happened so many times that we can't even possibly to look at one academic discipline and see how many times the methodologies have been improved or altered. I mean, you could write a book about that. You could write about that in the realm of, say, political philosophy. You could just write a book about that. It would be really, really big. There's been a lot of improvement in these areas. Unfortunately, talking about method is extremely boring. It's really dull. It's almost everyone's least favorite subject in school. People don't want to learn about what methods are good and what methods are bad. And so most of us don't know. We just haven't been taught it, or when we were taught, we weren't paying attention. And moreover, if you go to the wrong school, or you don't go to school past, say, high school, or even before that, you don't learn that there are actually methodological debates. You don't even get to that point. So you just learn the knowledge, but you don't learn how the knowledge was acquired. And now we have the internet, and we are more aware of this stuff, and we're aware of it, but we're not aware of the extent to which these methods have been critiqued and amended and replaced and altered over time, and generally improved. So what I'm trying to say is that it may seem like theories from academia are just theories, but they are the standards of rigor are way higher, and they require the effort you must put in to get your theory accepted in most academic disciplines is significantly higher than in if you just were to write a book and outside of academia. Now, of course, I should mention there are exceptions, and I would include theology as an exception, but there are certainly academic disciplines that are less rigorous. Conspiracy theories, in addition to alleging constant, persistent plots throughout history, ignore most or all of the research methods and analytic methods common to the study of the world that has been established over centuries within the academic world. Depending on the conspiracy theory, conspiracy theorists reject actual evidence, they will reject methods of assembling evidence, they will reject the motivations for studying phenomena, or, in the broadest sense, they will reject the way that human beings have typically been observed to behave throughout recorded history. And this is why conspiracy theories are ignored in academia almost exclusively. They just don't meet academic standards. Now, conspiracists retort to that that's because the academics are part of the conspiracy, but if you fall for that kind of line, I mean, there's not much anyone can do for you, I think. So, conspiracy theories are generally impossible to demonstrate the truth of. Sometimes they're demonstrably false, or at the very best, they're just impossible to substantiate without belief, a strong belief in something. So, I'll give you an example of this within the world of conspiracy theories. It's a particularly famous one. So, everyone's familiar with the JFK conspiracy, and particularly that Oswald either didn't do it or acted with other people. There is a scene in a book called Reclaiming History by the prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi, where he is attending a conference, and he asks the people in the room, who are all lawyers, whether or not they believe Oswald acted alone. And a huge chunk of the people say that they believe that Oswald didn't act alone or didn't do it. And he also asks them how many of them believe that in order to successfully prosecute a case, do they need to hear both sides of the story? And he gets 99% or 100% agreement from the people in the audience. So they all say, in order to successfully prosecute the case, you need to hear from the victims, and you need to hear from the suspects. So then he asks everybody in the room, who's read the Warren Commission report? The Warren Commission report is the report that put the guilt on Oswald. And he gets maybe 15% of a response. So The vast majority of people in the room believe that Oswald didn't act alone, but nobody, or very few of them, have bothered to even read the evidence that actually says that he did it. And this is typical, I think, of all conspiracy theories, is that people willfully ignore one side of it, because if they didn't willfully ignore it, they would learn that information is... It may not disprove their conspiracy, but it will throw it greatly into doubt. So, why do we fall for this stuff? Like, why are we so willing? Why do we even care? But why are we so willing to believe that Oswald didn't do it, or didn't act alone, when there's lots of evidence to show that he did? An easy explanation is that we're just ignorant of academic methods, and we cannot tell the difference between compelling, well-researched, and well-argued explanations, and stories full of logical fallacies. I do know people like this, and people who think they have a really strong critical thinking skills, but couldn't spot a logical fallacy